Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're watching
DONTAE'S
Boxing Nation.
DONTAE'S Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, this was a very, very interesting night of boxing. Boy, I'll tell you. Very interesting night of boxing. I mean, when you look at the dichotomy between Gennady Golovkin and Roman Gonzalez, and you consider the fact that you had one fighter on this side who actually was moving up in weight to face an undefeated champion, Roman Gonzalez, and then you have Gennady Golovkin, who's facing a smaller champion, a champion that moved up 2 weight classes to fight him. And then when you ask yourself who had more of a dominant performance between Roman Gonzalez and Golovkin, surprisingly, it was the fighter that moved up in weight, Roman Gonzalez, who had a far better performance than Gennady Golovkin. Isn't that interesting? I find that very interesting, guys. So let me go ahead and say congratulations to Roman Gonzalez moving up in weight and winning another title. I mean, it was a tough fight. It was a very competitive fight. I predicted that Roman Gonzalez would win this fight. I said, Carlos Cuadras, he has great foot movement and he will test Roman Gonzalez. But when I watched his highlights, I was impressed with his highlights. He used a lot of foot movement and he frustrated a lot of opponents with his foot movement. But I noticed, a lot of the combinations he throws, they're not really that accurate. Sometimes it looks like he's just throwing punches and just hoping that something lands. Whereas Roman Gonzalez is a lot more accurate with his punches. And that was the difference in this fight. Because Carlos Cuadras, he was throwing a lot of punches, but he wasn't hitting nothing but air. And Roman Gonzalez, he was landing all of the clean shots. The difference from Gennady Golovkin and Roman Gonzalez, at least that's what I noticed tonight. Now, granted, Roman Gonzalez, he still hasn't faced an athletic, rhythmic fighter with a lot of coordination, great defense, ridiculous hand speed and accuracy. He hasn't really faced an opponent like that. Tonight, Golovkin kind of did. The only problem was that guy wasn't a natural middleweight. I notice when Roman Gonzalez applies pressure, he is not easily discouraged. What that basically means is even if the guy is catching him with bombs or whatever the case may be, Gonzalez still keeps pushing forward. But when it comes to Gennady Golovkin, what we've seen in this fight, and we've seen it in the Willie Monroe fight too, whenever Gennady Golovkin is dealing with resistance, Golovkin will back up and he will not punch until his opponent stops punching. In other words, he won't punch with you. He won't really go toe-to-toe and make it an all-out war. That's not what Gennady Golovkin does. So no doubt about it, Roman Gonzalez, he is definitely a lot more confident with his aggressive style than Gennady Golovkin is. With all the foot movement that Cuadras was using throughout the entire night, Roman Gonzalez, he continued applying an enormous amount of pressure. He continued cutting off the ring, and he was the one landing the cleaner shots. Some of these rounds were close, but it was Gonzalez that was landing the cleaner shots. Cuadras is really good at throwing these fancy flurries, but he doesn't really land anything when he throws these flurries. Every now and then, he caught Roman Gonzalez with some good shots, and you could see the wear and tear on Roman Gonzalez's face later on in the fight. You seen both of his eyes were swollen, his jaw was swollen. He was definitely taking a lot of damage in this fight. But once again, overall, he was landing the more accurate shots throughout the fight as well. You could tell that Roman Gonzalez moving up in weight, it changes things in a big way, because now Roman Gonzalez is not the only guy with a lot of power. And now he has to still rely more on his technique and his skill than just relying on him being the strongest puncher in the ring. And it's going to get even worse from this point on, because eventually he's going to face guys that are more athletic than Cuadras, because see, Cuadras, his boxing style and his defense is more just with foot movement. So it'll be interesting to see if Roman Gonzalez ends up facing Inoue. If he faces Inoue, that'll be interesting, because that guy is considered the number one 115-pounder right now. So, but this was a big win. This was a big win, and I'm gonna go ahead and end this video short. I'll talk more about this fight on another video, but I'm gonna go ahead and end this one. That's all I got for now. I'm on to the next one, y'all.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.